Goes into a reserve for connection fees, which is used to offset the cost of the municipal utility operation.
Okay, that sounds right, but it's,
That's right.
yeah. I mean, I don't have that much time to go over each one of these items with you, and I'm not here to challenge you. I'm here to say you're not telling all what should be and what shouldn't be on the budgets and how you reduce them. You keep on bonding. You talk about $638,000. You just bonded for a fire engine and a hook and ladder after that.
And that's nothing to do with water and sewer.
No, but it has to do with your presentation. You have used money bonding for other areas. And the roads, what was it, 2012 or something, you have $400,000 or $500,000 for road improvements. I've seen us not do any roads in town, other than the county just did a couple.
We'll give you a list of roads that the township has done. Thank you. Mr. Taylor?
Thanks, Mayor. Jake Taylor, 106 Newark Road. I got a couple comments on the turf being that you just finished on that. I'm against finishing it for the obvious reason that it's we got a pig in a poke down there, and I never believe in throwing good money after bad. First place, where are you going to get the money? The $20,000 out of the open space fund. The people of this community voted. Rejected a turf field at the high school. You know, you people just moved around here. We were went through this ball game. We rejected a turf field. They were going to put one at the high school. They decided we couldn't afford it. That's why there's no turf at the high school field. Also, the turf field down there, the field next to that was $20,000 out of the open space fund to put regular turf down on that ground. The fiasco that spent the township committee that spent $700,000 down there on what's sitting down there right now. The township committee approved $700,000 down there, and that's where the money went. We took the free turf from Annapolis, Maryland, the free turf, and now you want to spend $100,000 to get rid of it. Real smart, but that's how I would run a business. Good. But to take $20,000, what's the limit on it? Suppose it goes over, suppose it goes to $30,000. You're going to come back for more money? You can cut your losses now and put the field in there that'll last forever. You put regular turf in there. Get rid of what's down there. You might have to bite the bullet now, but in the long run, you're going to come out ahead. Beating the drum so somebody can finish a job down there with a bunch of scrap. The stuff is, all the investigations I did is no good. You've been down there and looked at it. And the engineer, I don't know how you wrote the report. Somebody that knows something about turf should go look at it. Are you an expert on turf? You've done many turf. How many turf fields have you done?
I have not done one that I can tell you successfully yet.
Okay. That answers my question. But you're recommending we finish this one, and you have never done a turf field.
I welcome you to read the report and discuss it with me.
I can write a report. I can write a report that make locomotives fly.
Jake,
But I want to tell you something. When you take, we spent all that money down there, and to take and pour that more money into it is wrong. Because eventually, the turf is not new turf anyhow. When it's got to be replaced, we got to put more turf in. You're better to cut your losses down.
Says in the report.
No, I got to report. All
all
right.
right, Jake.
The council committee can do it. I'm not going to spend my time up there on the turf.
When it gets
Because my
time-
opinion is,
Jake.
and I'll be,
When it gets time for the voting on that particular turf to finish the field or not, I will give you the report that the engineer did give us.
find out what that costs. Maybe we put the tack out on the turf.
Jake, before you proceed, just one thing I want to ask. When you say the 700,000 number, and you say it a lot, are you suggesting that that particular field, the one that we're talking about, the one that is incomplete,
Yes.
cost $700,000 to date? Or are you referencing the entire complex?
I am representing that field.
That's
From the Open
incorrect.
Space Committee.
That number is
Of all-
incorrect.
It's
Hold
not
on for a
incorrect.
second.
It's
Jake,
not incorrect.
Jake, hold on for just a
I
second.
started on the cost when he spent the $28,000 to have it shipped up here from Annapolis. That's when I started keeping the cost down there. It's $720,000. That's what we got poured in there.
It's for the entirety of the complex, not for that particular field.
It's for what happened to that field down here.
It's for the entirety of the
No, it's
complex.
not.
that's,
Lying on the argument, but anyhow, get
Well,
back
I
to the
just don't want you to
sidewalk.
keep on repeating the same
Well, I'm
number
going to keep
incorrectly
repeating it.
over and over
I'm
and
going
over.
to repeat it because it's a fact, and
It's
I
a
deal in facts, and I have the reports, I have,
all right, let's
I hope
continue.
the,
Jake, let's
I
continue,
just wanna make sure the
please.
public's clear.
yeah, well, the public is clear.
Yes.
And I want to get back to the sidewalks here. You know, you forget, the township committee, prior township committee, took and spent $76,000 for some sidewalks right downtown. Township money. Of course, I don't know who them people are. $76,000 out of the township to put the sidewalks right down there. I told the guys in the Legion what they did. And furthermore, when we bonded for that sewer line, the same township committee now wants to give the $5,000 back. The sewer money, the bond for the sewer, when the dirt was dug up where the sidewalk goes to put the sewer in, it was recommended here on this meeting to put the sidewalk in at that time. Come out of the bond money, it would have been done. But no, the big brains foreseen, just put a couple trees in. Now, and I'm in favor of that, Legion should not have to put it in. If you can take township money and do for Jack's Barber Shop and a few other businesses downtown, $76,000 to put out of the township coffers to put private sidewalks in.
That's
You
correct.
can put it in for the Legion.
That's-
That's the way I look at it, not this $5,000 stuff. Do it for one, you do it for all. That's what's going to happen.
That's right.
On the general improvements, 2006, some of the stuff you read off there, I think probably we're going to have to bond for. I'm against the majority of bonding because we should be able to live within our means. Bonding, the way I interpret it, should be for big items like the trucks and fire trucks, the ambulance you're buying and stuff like that. Incidentals, things that I don't think it's included in. You didn't read them off, but I'm going to get the bond and go over it. We should be able to afford out of our regular taxation. You know, we shouldn't have to bond unless it's a special item. That's what the bonding was set up for. And that's how we can keep the township costs down. Because you're hollering about the percentage and all. Where's the percentage of my taxes back? It just keeps going up. It never comes back. Where's the 20,000 come from? Nobody answered that. Coming out of the open space?
No.
The open space is a fluid pot right now. I don't know that it has $20,000 in it.
That's another question. Dave, I called the state. Under the money from this guy from the state, and you know I've been talking to them up there because they sent some letters to the town. The money that's collected from the open space is supposed to go into the trust fund. So I asked the guy from the state, when? The last report I have, unless you stuck it in the last couple of weeks, you've gone through 3 tax periods and not one penny has been put in the open space. But you've collected the money off the taxpayers, but it's in the general fund. The money, according to the state, when it's collected, goes into the trust fund. The voters voted to establish an open space trust fund. The money is not in there, but we've collected. There's 3 tax periods went by. Now, I can't say every dime to continue, you have to divide, take the penny out and put it in the fund. But when you overlap periodically tax periods, the money's not in there. Now, have you put it in? There's 3 tax periods. Thanks, Dave. Good answer. Go ahead.
Want me to answer?
Go ahead.
I do believe a common practice of the township since the institution of
Only
this.
since you've been here.
I do believe a common practice of the township has been to make one payment to the open space fund once the budget has been adopted.
Well, that's not, I disagree with you. When you came here, when that fund was established, and I was here when it was established, part of getting it established, the money was put in there at the end of the tax period, prior to the next tax period. That's when the money was put in. I have the orders, and you have them. That then you decided to anticipated revenue and to borrow $190,000 out of the open space fund and pay run-of-the-mill costs. When I wrote to the state on that letter, they said that's illegal.
No, let's stop right there. The state
Not
reviewed.
good business practice.
No, the state reviews the budget. They saw it. They approved it.
Yeah. Well,
And there was no disclaimer of.
I have your letter. The township, the citizens of Barnegat the taxpayers of Barnegat voted down a recreation fund. The same year that we approved the penny for the open space, we voted down 3 cents to build the Field of Dreams out there. The people voted it down. They didn't want to spend the money on recreation. There was a referendum on the ballot.
Correct.
Now, but a bunch of people got together, myself included, to push for the penny for the open space. But since that time, we've collected $2 million, or out of the taxpayers have put up $2 million, close to it. And none of us went for open space. Salt for the roads, trophies, trim the trees at the township. You know, this is not what the people approved that money for. And that fund has been drained and sucked dry for normal expenses in the township. And to cover, like Dave can sit up there and say, oh, we look good financially. We're looking good financially because we're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Where's the $2 million that's supposed to be in the open space fund? It's not there. Like she just said, it's empty. It's empty because it was pushed away on items, fireworks. I give the list to so many people. You see some of the ridiculous items that it was spent on.
Well, Jake, I think you're gonna find out it will not be touched again for anything but open space.
All right, but I can report that to the committee. Most of the people want to quit the committee. It's why hire a committee if you ain't got no money.
I don't blame them.
That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Gentleman back.
George Flory, 4 Blue Claw Drive. I have a couple of questions and some status on 5 points, but before I get to that, I'll refer back to an email that I wrote on 15 April that went to you, Mr. Mayor, and the other committeemen, and copies to the township. And at that time, you requested a week later during the township meeting that the township administrator respond to the email, and which you did, very professionally, and it was direct to the point. What he's pointed out to me, if I understand correctly, that this falls back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, what is it?
So, did you receive the email?
I told you 10 times, I don't get emails, and I don't email. If you need me, pick up the telephone, you have my number,
Right.
we will speak face to face.
Yes.
That's what I told you, and that's what I'll keep telling you.
Okay.
I don't
So,
email.
Yes, I understand that. Did you receive a copy of the email?
Not to my knowledge.
Are you sure?
I'm not positive, I have quite a bit of papers, I'll look again. What was it about?
This has been a month.
What was it about?
It was about the meeting.
No, I don't remember seeing it.
The email concerned various policies and procedures.
Oh, I'm
to
sorry,
be
yes,
employed in
yes,
the
I
meeting.
did see that, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I did see
So,
that.
my question to you is, what is your response?
Well, the committee is still going over it and deciding what we should do or how to go about it. We haven't made a decision yet.
So, when would you anticipate a decision with a response?
I would say that we'll discuss it again before the next meeting, to see how the committee feels about your suggestions.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, I appreciate that.
Oh,
And
my- No problem, just,
I understand
Call
emails,
me.
but, no, well, it's rather lengthy to call you, okay? And especially if there's a letter that's 5 or 6 pages long.
no, it's easier than emailing.
It's- No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
And especially if you receive a copy of it, then I know you did.
yes, I did.
So, thank you. The other points of interest would be, in the email, I asked for status updates and a tracking system that can be included in the minutes of the meeting. For example, what is the status of the Comcast, status of the website, status of a marketing plan, status of the grocery store, things that have been talked about in the past, but haven't been discussed this evening.
Well, they were discussed last meeting, I don't know if
Yeah.
you were here.
Yeah.
We did, Mrs. Taylor went over most of that with Comcast, Mr. Checky went over it, and most of those items you're talking about, the supermarket, we went over it
Yes,
quite a bit.
I understand that.
So
My
what else
question
do you
is,
need to know?
is there any update? So, in other words, since the last meeting to this meeting, there's no update on any of these areas?
Yeah, I can give you an
Sure.
update right now. This is a prototype of what our new website is gonna be looking like. Hopefully it should be up, Sharon, did you say?
Sure.
Within a week?
Maybe 2 weeks.
Give Next
two.
Next week, yeah.
I'm thinking it's gonna be done this week.
One thing we're discovering with technology, it's fantastic, however, at times it can be very challenging. As I indicated in the email, we're working diligently to upgrade the website. We all agree with the value of having a user-friendly, informative website. We're getting to that point. I urge your patience and understanding. I think
Oh, yeah.
you'll be very happy with the end result.
Actually, we had a meeting, just so you know, we had a meeting just the other day, with the website person, and I showed him my vision of what I was looking for. And that's what we sat and put together. So that's that part. Comcast, we have, I just received this evening, 3 different quotes on different options of how to televise or internet the meetings. So that's right here, and that's why I haven't given an update on it, because I haven't even looked at it.
Well, okay, yeah, and I think that it's reasonable to ask, under the,
that's
I mean, I
fine.
understand your request. What you're saying is when we don't bring up an agenda item, can we provide some sort of update
just
some way?
say.
My issue with that is
Open
that things are fluid, things are moving, some issues, get a little stale from time to time, go quiet while others rise up. You know the nature of the beast, and so chasing updates on items that aren't on the agenda is somewhat of a difficult, time-consuming process. We'll give you updates as we can for things that are happening, but if we're not talking about it, nothing's
Then
happened yet.
Nothing's happened.
Right.
Well, if you take
It's
example.
working behind the scenes that you're not to be privy to anyway, or nothing has happened at all.
No, I understand that, but like, for example, Comcast has been going for an extended period of time, it's had
That's
its highs, lows.
absolutely.
We're just catching up on it.
Amen
And
to that.
the only thing I ask
How's
is
it
a way to track this that says the last time we spoke or the previous time, so it's easy on your website for people here to say, I don't have to keep coming and asking.
Mhm.
Or, I understand, there's nothing been done for 2 weeks. Okay, but does it go a month, does it go 6 months, and you kind of put a big question mark there, is it really important? Right?
I think it may be difficult, to be quite honest with you, and I'm gonna be honest, I think it's gonna be difficult to track something like that on a website. To sit there with every issue that people may be bringing up, or that, we may bring up, and sit there and update the website and say, nothing going on.
Nothing today.
receive
Nothing
quotes,
today.
or-
It's not easy, there's so much going on.
I think that would be a really difficult situation. We try as much as possible to keep everyone updated with our reports. Again, this week we didn't because, again, I know it's happening. You don't, unfortunately, and I think that's where I may get lax, because I know what's going on, so I should be able to relate that to you, and I will try to do that in my reports, going forward. If it's something that we've discussed, or I've discussed, then I'll try to.
That's all I can ask, is, what's going on? Because you do provide important information up here, and I think it's very important that the people understand it. But there's some things that have been going on for a while, you just kind of say, well, what happened?
Absolutely.
I just feel silly sometimes coming up here and saying,
We'll
okay, yep, we're
negotiate.
still working on the
Working
website.
on
No, no, but if you say, if I may refer back to, a month ago, it was gonna be here on this date, et cetera. And I'm not trying to pin you down, I'm just saying,
On that.
okay, well, no, I was in the IT industry, I understand that, okay? But it's like, okay, the status is X, just something brief, and that's fine, that's all
Or
right.
if we forget, come up and ask.
Well, that's why I'm here.
Positively.
Send an email.
Send an email to me.
Well, I will say, that your BlackBerry does respond.
My Blueberry
Your
doesn't.
Blueberry or your BlackBerry, whatever you have, but your BlackBerry does respond because I get a failure message from you last 3 times.
There you go, it's dead.
Yeah? Did you get the failure message?
Yeah, it went down for some
My
reason.
last question is more to the township engineer, in regards to Hillside. Is there any update as to the status of that?
Hillside is included in the bond ordinance that we're introducing on first reading tonight. That's a DOT grant and will be paid from one end to the other,
Okay, so you anticipate what, by the end of the year or something?
Oh.
or-
before then.
Okay, great, thank you, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Ray Leshak, 116 Redwood Drive in Barnegat. The subject is Pancoast Road, but I need a couple of answers. Is that a through road?
No.
It's not.
No, it's not a through road, but it is, it's a fire road, but I think a couple residents in Waretown use that road to gain access to their property.
Okay. Plus I drove, from 554, I drove about a little over 2.5 miles into it today,
Which way?
heading east. That is away from 72 from 554.
Towards Waretown.
And it's not navigable. I mean, if they do gotta get firefighting equipment in there, they're not doing it.
The state firefighting service utilizes that road quite frequently. They're in the process of establishing something called a fire break, where they're clearing some vegetation and some dead trees along that road in order to create a break between the forest and the development.
Okay, because right now, I went on it today, there's like 1, 2, and 3 foot deep like holes.
Oh, yeah, there's no question about it. Yeah.
Nothing else, they're gonna have to get at least, you know, like gravel fill or something.
Yeah.
And people got logs going across the road and
They're really not supposed to be using
It's an old trail road from the 1800s, isn't it?
the old stagecoach.
Yeah.
all right, so it's not a through road, and they should just put a sign up or something at the beginning, and somebody goes in there with a car, they're probably not gonna get out.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ray.
Stay out of the woods.
Frank Vicente, 41 Hanley. I'm gonna make it quick. First, I'd like to commend you, Marty, Elaine, and Al for giving the $5,000 back to the Legion. It is well worth giving them the $5,000 for the amount of money they put into this town every year. So I want to thank you for that. Number 2, when this environmental assessment is done on Cherry Street, when we find out that it is polluted, is that going to prevent Stone from building that development that no one wants?
Stone has progressed and did progress before I arrived beyond my ability to pull it back. What I'm doing with this environmental testing, what my goal is that whatever the result, it gets reported. So if it comes back, I'm gonna use the word if, Frank.
It will.
I'm gonna use the word if. If it comes back and it's testing poorly, then the DEP and the EPA are going to be notified, as well as the Pinelands Commission. Okay? If it comes back clean, again another if, the citizens of Barnegat will be impressed.
Okay.
That's the goal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Raphael Adorno, 441 East Bay Avenue. In regards to the turf, a couple of other things that I will speak about, because I'm concerned, as you say, that there's no more money in the open space fund. So are we saying then that you are going to be using taxpayers' money out of the direct budget to complete this job, not knowing if it is going to or not exceed the $20,000?
I'd like to make a correction. I don't believe I said that exact phrase, that there's no more money in the open space fund. My answer was that that's a fluid fund, and I'm not sure what the amount is in there. I'm not sure that there would be $20,000 in that fund to cover those costs, if the open space fund were to be utilized as the fund to cover the costs of the legal. I just want to make sure I was clear. The question stands.
John, it just led me to have, it left a little gray area where that is actually going to come from what you're hearing. I do know that you do load the open space fund typically anytime between June, July, and August. It's usually about 600,000 and change, or 200,000. I might be off. I'm thinking I'm counting 3 years in my head, but I've been paying attention to it for a while. It's typically almost every July. June or July is when I know that's reloaded. Hopefully that answers somebody else's question that they had of when that money was in there. What I want to say, obviously, again about the turf is no matter what, no matter which way you look at it, the money's been spent. You've spent over $700,000 in the past 3.5, 4 years on the entire facility. It's not just the turf field. The turf field I'm gonna say is responsible for about 60% of that 700,000. Between the curbing, the drainage, the engineer fees, the stone, and all the other land clearing, and getting all that all prepped up, because I know what was done on the original football field. 28 or 30,000 facade, the township water department did the pump and the well, reactivated it, we had to make sure that it was a deactivated well there, so there was some expenses of that. So I know that's probably maybe 70,000, 75,000. Then you spent another 30,000 or so on the existing softball field, resodding that, some fencing, some goal posts, some foul balls, some multiple things. Then you spent another additional, I'm gonna say, 100 and something thousand, give or take, on the new softball field. Clearing, sodding, sprinklering, all those particulars. So it's safe to say that the turf field part of it is roughly under $500,000 or 400 and change worth of spending down there. The bigger concern is no matter what, it's been spent, it's been done. You have a proper elevated field that has all the proper drainage and all the proper other things that's there needed to contain where that water's going and redirect it. We don't have a crystal ball to know where we're going to be in 2, 4, or 5 years financially, or what type of situation we're all going to be in. We all hope that it's for the best. But at the same time, you're looking to spend $20,000 and change or so more, which I truthfully, my opinion, it's going to be more, and I'll be able to touch on that. But you're pushing on a very, very large expense to the future of removing them. But in the meantime, the concern that bothers me more, why I feel more passionate to it, I don't care, Steve knows what he's doing. He's the expert on it. We have an engineer who's been working on it. Now, I do have one question for him, and I'll try to keep track here. Do you really recommend them to go forward with this as a complete volunteer group, or should contractors be hired professionally to actually handle the rest of this work to make sure it's done appropriately?
It's a twofold question. If money were no object, I'm not making a recommendation to move forward with volunteers right now. Unfortunately, money is an object. The concern right now is that there hasn't been enough of a workforce on site. My understanding is it's been 3 men that have been out there typically. You need at least 10. The way around this right now, at least from the township's perspective, if they go forward with a recommendation that's in this report, is to make sure that we have sign-off from at least 10 volunteers, that they're going to be on site. If they're not, then there's no point in trying to continue with volunteers because there's going to be enough workforce. So we're back to square one, and what are we going to do, and where are we going to find the money to finish the job?
It's fair enough, I understand that. But, you know, back into what I was trying to say is, no matter which way you look at it, you have to add, they don't have the end zones. Okay, so you have to purchase end zones. That's a very large amount, 20 yards and change or whatever, it's gotta go past it a little bit. You know, we know the end zone's 10 yards, but there's a little bit more you gotta go past it. So they don't have that, so you have to buy that. The other one, you still gotta buy your adhesive tape, because he said that they can't be sewn together. So he has to buy something to sew all those 5 yards together. We don't know how much crumb rubber is there, which we, again, opinion is opinion, everybody's different. Yeah, I don't believe you have enough crumb rubber. I believe the crumb rubber is going to be needed
Mr.
a
Cotton,
large
search
amount.
where is it?
Until he lays it out, the concern that I have is, when I say there may not be, and this is what I've watched for over 2 years, when Public Works helped unload those 14 or 17 trailers, they took the big front end loader with 2 forks and stuck it right into the rolls of turf. So for how many 10 layers of rolls were in that roll, they all had hole punctures in it. Let's just say that goes down a whole 100-yard football field, 120-yard football field. And he's going to lay out crumb rubber, he's going to spread it all out. How much of that's going to fall through the trap stone? They're really tiny little pieces, so you're going to be losing constantly crumb rubber. That's the one concern that I have about the crumb rubber. There's holes everywhere, he has to sew them. With that, again, the cleaning solution. You're going to lose an enormous amount after to clean it. Another concern I have is, Where's the equipment coming from? You're gonna have to purchase some cleaning solutions. Could be a couple of thousand, could be $1,200, could be $900, but there's the sweeper, the leveler, there's the conditioning, shampooing. There's a lot of additional equipment that's needed. We don't own any of that. I don't know whether or not Mr. Cotton, or do you even know if he's gonna provide all that type of equipment for you. Let's just say it's another $7,000 worth of equipment and cleaning solutions that you need to have, and do that twice a year. Where's that projection coming from? Where are you going to get that money? That's, again, is it going to be the open space fund? Is it going to be something else? So there's other additional costs. The bigger concern, or why I even feel more passionate, back to what I was trying to say before, is turf fields are used for a really good level of athletics. We know high schools have them. We know some other communities have them. My bigger concern is I've been living down there for 8 years. I've been a coach there for that many years. And I've watched some of the little kids who are 3 years old and 4 years old sitting there watching their older siblings. I might pull on your heartstrings a little bit. We all know you gotta look up the health effects. You know when those little kids are crawling around watching their older brothers and sisters cheer and play football, they're on the floor, they're crawling around, now they got pellets in their hands. What do all little kids do? They put their fingers in their mouth, they're gonna ingest a little crumb rubber, they're gonna have problems in their stomach. Let alone, I'm talking about the animals. You got the deer who's going to want to drink water, or the frogs, and all the different things that are down in that area. When you really go, all the different habitats, they're going to ingest some of that crumb rubber. It's not safe. It's not good. That is a real, true wildlife area that we have a nice recreational facility for. Those are my concerns, because you know what? In 5 years, when a couple of those kids may be getting sick, we don't know. But there are health studies that show you why it's not safe. The other concern that I have is these little kids that are playing, they get cut open. Coaches have to be trained about first aid and cleaning, staph infections, MRSA. Now you've contributed also to some of our kids who may not have the proper hygiene at the home and the family, and I only say that because I've coached them. I know how smelly they come. I know how often they clean their uniforms. I know what their moms drop them off like. I'm not saying that that's how all of them. Those are the things I'm trying to talk about. It's just not proper. Now, somebody else will say, well, what about goose poop all over the place? We all know people get extremely sick from goose poop. Okay, so all I'm trying to tell you is there are a lot of health issues, there's monetary issues, there's lack of volunteerism down there. You can always give a good talk and say you have all the people there to help you. I know there isn't. And what strikes me more is that the equipment and the field has sat there, nothing done, since last August. It's 9 months. Whether you've gotten discounts on equipment, you have other equipment that's still down there, that's rented. It's been sitting for 9 months. Whether you're paying $300 or $500 for it. Maybe it's $5 grand in the last 5 months that you spent. Could you have done something with something else in town for $5,000? These are the things I'm talking about. You have a really tough decision, and you got to think about the future. The way I look at it is you've invested a lot of money in there already with the previous administration and this current administration. You're trying to clean up a mess that was pushed with a few other things before. You guys have stood there, Mr. Billy, Mr. Masella. I know how you feel about it. I know what you've done and worked with it, Mr. Maffiando and Alphonse Sorley. You all wanted to do the right thing. And I've sat up here like almost beating a dead horse to stop it, stop it, stop it. It's just not fiscally responsible to go through with it. There are the health issues with it. My concern is no matter what it is, cut your losses now. Do what we've said in the last meeting. You have everything else set up there perfectly. Clear out some of the stone, get some nice topsoil down, roll up all the turf, set it up in the parking lot, close off that parking lot for a little while, put down sprinklers with the water department again into the ground, and put sod. It's going to cost you, let's just say hypothetically, $35,000 for sod, the water department getting it on their project, another $25,000 in material to actually do sprinklers. Let's just call it a day, $60,000 to really complete it, sod. You have no maintenance to do with it. You don't have nothing to worry about with it in the next 3 to 8 years. Okay? It's done. Now you got the $90,000 you got to spend on getting rid of the turf. You ever talk about having to take a really hard bullet? I would ask this committee to really think hard about it. Take the bullet. When you reload the bonds, when you reload the open space fund, get rid of it. Get rid of it then. Count the losses, call it a day, get the real engineer's expert opinion on it, even though he's not a field turf expert. Maybe you really need to get a real field turf expert in here to give you a real true assessment of what's there. But I ask you personally, think about the kids, think about the wildlife down there, think about what you're actually doing to the future of Barnegat. If any one of you, 5 of you, are not sitting here, there's 5 new members sitting up there, what you passed on to them to have to clean up and handle another $200,000 worth of dirty mess of field turf. Bite the bullet now, take care of it in July, wash it, get rid of it, put aside, field, and I think you'll be satisfied for the next 10 years of what your decision is.
Thank you, Raphael. I know
Thank you,
we've
Raph.
talked in the past about it personally, privately, and I really want to thank you. I may not agree with you, but I do want to thank you for your very thoughtful, well thought out ideas regarding the issue, and thank you for acknowledging that this is something that we kind of, you know, the string went way down the track before I got here, so it's just
I
trying to figure out
apologize
the
if that's
best
a beating of a
answer.
dead horse, but it's how I feel. And
But I
think a
wanted
lot
to
of
thank
people
you
would
for
feel
your
that
time.
some way.
Thank you,
I
Ralph.
I think they might say be penny wise today than be foolish later.
Thank you, Ralph. Mike?
Mike Howard, 22 Birdsall. First, little pack for you. The bus stop is finally up. The people are able to sit down without sitting on an old creosote log down there anymore.
Just to give you a quick story, we had a similar incident in Ware Town, and it took like 8 or 9 months to
Yeah,
get
and
it fixed.
I have been thinking back from October.
Yes.
I've been down at the dock a couple times, and I'm not an expert, but it certainly appears as though the dock is going to be a lot better than it was the last time before the storm. I mean, structurally, these guys, I think they were,
Yes.
somebody, the engineer recommended. I see nothing wrong with what they're doing. They're doing an excellent job. Cones on West Bay and Lighthouse. The red cones on, or the orange cones on there. Isn't there something that the county, I guess, has to do on, especially on Lighthouse? I mean, just put cones there, it looks like, doesn't look good. I don't understand why they can't put a guardrail, something there, and the ones outside of, the Wawa on, just before the bridge. I mean, you find them all over it looks like we're playing pinball over there. Raphael, I believe, has some great points, and as far as you're concerned, did I understand you that your recommendation would be not to finish that field? Is that what I heard?
If money were no object, my recommendation would be to do something other than use volunteers. Right now, looking at the costs that are associated with each option, it seems like the most economical solution for the township right now.
As long as Mr. Cotton can get 10 volunteers all the time, is that what
As long as he can provide the workforce that he needs to finish.
I believe he's been quoted as saying he's had 1, maybe 2 volunteers with him the whole time he was down there the last time. When he put those, I don't know how many pieces are even there that look like, that are not real good looking pieces down there. As far as that bond coming up,
Which one?
the one for, what is it, 700?
720,000 for township
Some of
township,
that is for fire protection equipment?
50,000.
Didn't we just bond for 300,000 for firefighting protective gear and safety equipment?
Back in 2011, that's correct.
Correct. And we need another $70,000 worth of.
50,000.
Another 50,000? The aerial truck, how much did it cost us? You said about 7 something, I think.
I thought it was between around 850, 900. I don't have that
We
number.
bonded for 900.
I don't have that number in
I
front of
know
me.
it was way less.
Okay.
So, in other words, can't we use that money, the difference between what we paid for it, because we were gonna buy the stripped down version. That was in your report.
Okay. I will have to take a look at exactly how much it costs.
All right. You also bought, I believe, 5 police cars the last time around?
I do believe it was 5 or 6.
Right, and it was $300,000. Why didn't we just bond for more and buy 2 more back then? How come all of a sudden we need 2 more?
Well, I think if you take a look at the mileage of the patrol vehicles, we currently have 4 vehicles in the fleet that have an excess of 160,000 miles. So if you put this out on a systematic path, we should be buying 2 to 3 patrol cars a year in order to keep the mileage under 125,
Right, but we don't buy, we bond.
Purchase of them.
Right, but some of those bonds are how long? 13 years, 12 years?
No, it's
10 years?
a composite of the average of the useful life. For the police SUVs, it's 5 years.
All right, we're only paying 5 years on the bond?
It's a composite of the average, so it's, the SUVs are 5 years, fire safety gear maybe 10 years, so they take an
So each
average.
one of these pieces has a different,
Each one has a different
has a
useful life.
different,
Yes.
we've also bonded for $50,000 just in 11 for information technology equipment.
Mhm.
What are we upgrading this time?
We are continuing to upgrade our public safety cameras, installing additional cameras throughout the community. In
That's the
addition,
ones up on
Lexington, and we want to do that in many other spots. That program has been very successful.
I think that's on my list, and I think we're done. Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else? None? Motion closed?
Motion to close. Second.
Roll call. New business.
The question just came up, I maybe wasn't heard. I think the resolution regarding Lower Shore was placed on the agenda.
Is that gonna be under consent, or is that gonna be
No.
under a separate?
Well, let's say this, resolution for Lower Shore Road is 224. Let's say the consent agenda ends at 223, and then we'll take a separate vote for
So
224.
you're gonna take a separate vote?
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
New business, ordinance 2013-6, first reading.
An ordinance providing for various general improvements and other related expenses in and for the township of Barnegat and appropriating $720,000 therefore, and providing for the issuance of $684,000 bonds or notes.
Motion to introduce the ordinance.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeewoman Taylor?
Since this is a first reading, I said yes.
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 Committeeman Billy?
Yes to introduce only, of course.
Committeeman Lazella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McCabe?
Yes.
Mayor Morano?
First reading only, yes. Ordinance 2013-7, first reading.
An ordinance providing for special emergency appropriation of $200,000 for the engagement of special consultants for the preparation of a master plan.
Motion to introduce this ordinance.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Committeewoman Taylor?
Again, first reading, yes.
Committeeman Billy?
No.
Committeeman Lazella?
No, I'd like this table until we got more information on it.
Deputy Mayor McCabe?
Yes.
Mayor Morano?
No. Motion to introduce, ordinance 2013-8, first reading.
An ordinance providing for various water sewer improvements and other related expenses in and for the township of Barnegat and appropriating $680,000 therefore, and providing for the issuance of $680,000 in bonds or notes to finance the same.
Do we have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call.
Committeewoman Taylor?
yes.
Committeeman Billy?
Introduce only, yes.
Committeeman Lazella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McCabe?
Yes.
Mayor Morano?
Introduce only, yes. Okay, and we have a motion to approve the minutes from the April 15th regular township meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call.
Committeewoman Taylor?
yes.
Committeeman Billy?
Yes.
Committeeman Lazella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McCabe?
Yes.
Mayor Morano?
Yes. Old business, ordinance 2013-2, second reading.
An ordinance amending and supplementing section 55-117 of the Township Code to require submission of an environmental preliminary assessment as a part of major development applications.
We need a motion to open public comment.
So moved. Second. Motion to close public?
Is there anybody comment on this ordinance?
One at a time.
We need a second. We need to close. Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Ordinance 2013-4, second reading. No? Oh, motion to close. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Motion to adopt, not introduce.
Gotta get introduced.
Yes,
Yeah,
should be
should be
adopted.
adopted.
Okay. Adopt,
So moved.
second.
Roll call?
Committeewoman Taylor?
Yes.
Committeeman Billy?
Yes.
Committeeman LaSalla?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McCabe?
Yes.
Mayor Morano?
Yes. Ordinance 2013-4, second reading.
An ordinance establishing certain salaries of certain officers and employees and repealing any and all other ordinances inconsistent herewith.
Motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
Open any comments from this ordinance? Seeing to be none.
Motion to close?
Second.
Motion to introduce ordinance. Adopt again. Okay. Motion to adopt ordinance.
So,
Second.
Roll call?
yes, I've also went through the salaries, and Mr. Breeden and I are gonna sit down and go through some of the jobs that are no longer applicable to the town and take them off of the list.
Very good.
So yes,
No, we didn't vote yet.
I thought we were, that's
No,
why my name was.
No, we're not.
Motion to adopt.
It's motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
We did that. We did that.
Okay, motion to adopt the ordinance.
Right.
We did
Now
that
we
too.
just
We
did-
did both.
I did roll
We
call.
did a roll call.
And I said yes, and then
Okay.
Committeewoman Taylor?
yes, along with my comment.
Committeeman Billy?
Yes.
Committeeman LaSalla?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McCabe?
Yes.
Mayor Morano?
Yes. Ordinance 2013-5 on second reading.
An ordinance amending and supplementing chapter 46B of the Township Code entitled Flood Damage Prevention in order to provide for new section 46B entitled Flood Damage Prevention.
Motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have any comments?
Motion to close to the public?
Second.
Motion to close. Motion to introduce, adopt. Motion to adopt. ordinance. Roll call.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Roll call.
Committeewoman Taylor?
Yes.
Committeeman Billy?
Yes.
Committeeman LaSalla?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McCabe?
Yes.
Mayor Morano?
Yes. Formal action agenda. Resolution 2013-195.
Resolution authorizing payment of bills in the amount of $3,514,739.63.
Motion to adopt.
Hold on. Some help from the town. Really, we have resolution 2013-195A, which reflects 195 plus $220, which represents utility payments for the donation center. Everything else stays the same on the
So we can skip.
I would skip 195 and adopt 195A.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
2013-195.
A on page 4.
Got it.
Resolution, amending resolution 2013-195 bill list in the amount of $3,514,521.17 due to removing two utility payments to JCP&L in the amounts of $110.78 and $107.68 originally included in bill list.
Motion to adopt resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeewoman Taylor?
Yes.
Committeeman Billy?
Yes.
Committeeman LaSalla?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McCabe?
Yes.
Mayor Morano?
Yes. Resolution 2013-196.
Resolution authorizing an emergency appropriation for the current fund.
Motion to adopt resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeewoman Taylor?
Yes.
Committeeman Billy?
Yes.
Committeeman LaSalla,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McCabe,
Yes.
Mayor Moreno.
Yes. Resolution 2013-197.
Resolution authorizing an emergency appropriation for the water sewer fund.
Motion to adopt resolution.
So moved.
Roll call.
Second.
Second. Sorry about that. You got a second? Roll call.
Committeewoman Taylor,
Yes.
Committeeman Billy,
Yes.
Committeeman LaSalla,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McCabe,
Yes.
Mayor Moreno.
Yes. Consent agenda.
The below listed items are considered to be routine by the Township of Barnegat and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no formal discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Resolution 2201. I gotta find the one where I was somehow. I have to explain.
218, I think. 217, no, 218.
218. Thank you. Do we have a motion? Consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Committeewoman Taylor,
Yes.
Committeeman Billy,
Yes.
Committeeman LaSalla,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McCabe,
Yes.
No, is that what's
Oh,
being?
sorry.
There's one item on,
I have to
219.
yes to everything but 218, please.
218.
okay. Mayor Moreno,
Same thing, everything but 218. Motion to adopt consent agenda? We did that.
One more, yeah, one more.
There's one more, yeah.
Resolution.
224. Motion to introduce?
If I may, I think what Deputy Mayor was referring to was a motion regarding the issue we talked about, that Lower Shore Road. If I may say, the engineer's recommendation here is for the option designated as option B in his report, with an estimated cost of $20,000, and that is to proceed to completion with the use of volunteers, subject to, we described that there be sufficient staffing for that. I understand that's the motion that Deputy Mayor is going to be making to
That is correct.
authorize it to proceed, attach to proceed with that option.
That's correct.
Motion to adopt the resolution? Do we have a motion?
Well, if I can say, I think the motion is to authorize the township through administration to proceed for the completion of Lower Shore Road Field on option B in the engineer's report, which is to proceed to completion with the use of volunteers with the expenditure of $20,000.
Is there any motion? Do we have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Committeewoman Taylor,
No, I'd rather, to be honest with you, if it was up to me, I would take that, I'd fence it off, and I'd let it rot at this point. I wouldn't even put grass or anything else. I could see taking money, we have kids, and I'm not gonna go on too long on this, but we have kids here who, not everybody plays organized sports. We could take that money, put together our, skateboard park, and make that for kids. But at this point, I will say no, I'm not gonna support that.
Thank you.
Committeeman Billy,
Yes.
Committeeman LaSalla,
Yes, Raphael makes some great points. He made them all during the process. And right now, it's easy for everyone to be a Monday quarterback. And if we had to start this project all over again, everybody may have different feelings, but what's in front of us right now and the recommendation of the engineer, I have to say yes.
Deputy Mayor McCabe,
You know, I thought about this a long time. I spearheaded its resurrection. I've asked for the research. I have the report. I've talked extensively with the administrator and the engineer. I also spoke with Raphael, and I do hear him and always have heard him. Ultimately, this is a train that went down a track, and I was unable to pull it back, so I'm left with what's there and what's sitting there and what I have, and, you know, the screaming of economics. After careful analysis, I have to go with the recommendation of the engineer. I vote yes.
Mayor Moreno.
I have to vote no, because I believe down the, couple of years from now, the people, taxpayers are gonna be paying heavily for what's in store for them down the road. So I vote no. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.